Hello again, whiskey friends. Darrell, the whiskey saint, back for another Whiskey Wednesday review, guys. And we are going to be talking about a banger bottle. Probably going to be my number one whiskey of the year. As it stands right now, it is my number one top ranking whiskey of the year. This thing is just absolutely ridiculous. Not going to spoil it. You guys going to have to stick with me for a bit to see what I'm talking about. But guys, you don't want to miss this one. This one's going to be a banger. I'm going to do a quick review, give you some stats on the bottle, and just kind of taste through it probably this one last time until probably the end of the year, man. Like, I've been putting a hurting on this bottle. Those who have been probably following the channel for a bit may know what bottle I'm talking about, shortly. But yeah, if you're new to our channel, please hit that like and subscribe. We're going to kick this show off. Cheers. Welcome back, guys. And I kind of want to just dive right into it. Like, this whiskey is like too good to be sitting in the glass or in the bottle, should I say. But guys, what we're going to be talking about is a single barrel coming from NBC. You guys know a lot of us been talking about NBC this year. Their 7-year picks have just been stellar for the most part. Depending on the barrel runs, they kind of influence, I guess, how good they are to an extent, but none of them this year have been bad. They've all been very, very good. And I probably tasted, I don't know, 5 or maybe 6 different single barrels at least, probably more than that, to be honest, this year. And they've all been very, very, very good. This one's been a standout for me. I've done a couple different blinds with some of my favorite NBC picks. And I want to say 3 out of 3 times this specific barrel won every single time. It's that good, guys. This is a Barrels for Hope single barrel NBC pick. So 7-year MGP, 127.2 proof. You can see that nice little logo over here. And you guys know I've been talking about Barrels for Hope for a while already, putting out some crazy picks. I reviewed a dark pumpernickel rye out of Middle West Spirits probably a few weeks back, which was very, very good. Probably going to be one of my top ryes, if not top 5 of the year, by the end of the year for sure. Like, they're putting out some stellar stuff. And this bottle, I've been talking it up. And I know everybody that's had a chance to try it is pretty much in agreement. I know Jeff, I believe, scored it a little bit lower than me, but this thing just hits all the right places for me. It's stellar whiskey. And for a stellar group, right? Barrels for Hope doing everything for charity. It's great. So we're going to pour probably my last pour of this bottle until closer to the end of the year so I can savor it, guys. I do not want it to go. Wish I had a second one, but I actually probably poured a little bit more than I wanted to pour. But we're going to sit back, enjoy this pour, and kind of talk about it a bit, right? So diving in, guys, as you can see, NBC single barrel, 7-year, like I mentioned. These typically retail for about $110. This bottle in particular is technically free with the Barrels for Hope Patreon. If you're in that higher tier of $65 a month, you get a certain amount of bottles per year that just magically show up at your doorstep. So it's not much better than that, especially when you're getting whiskey that is this darn good, right? So 127.2 proof, 7-year-old. And we're going to just dive into the nose on this. Yeah, guys, like, for me, you guys know me. Like, I love like fruity, almost like finished noses and or whiskey, right? Like it's something about like the fruit forwardness of a whiskey that I really like. And NBC with their Kelvin barrels tend to come off not finished, but have a lot of that citrus and berry and dark fruit up front, which I absolutely love. And this whiskey has it. Like this thing, there's no denying it's like blackberry, spice, vanilla, nice oak for 7 years. Like you would think this thing is older. And like just look at the color, right? Look how dark that is. I don't know if it translates into glass. It does. Like it is dark, right? Comes across older than 7 years. Just very, very nice, fruitful. And it's that dark blackberry up front is just lovely. Oh, man. I will say, as good as the nose is on this whiskey, I've have nosed slightly better Nashville products. But for the palate, I don't think I've tasted a Nashville product that was better than this. Just the nose for me, I think when I had ranked these or ranked this one in particular, it was about an 8 up front for the flavor on the nose and a 9 on the depth. But other than that, like this thing just scored almost like 9s and 10s pretty much across across the board, to be honest with you guys. But I'm going to go in for a sip. Enjoy this. Got it. So much intense flavor. Front, mid, just gets lit up with dark berry spice and like just charred oak. Oh, it's so good up front and it's just sitting there. That first sip, it is my first sip of whiskey. Didn't really translate on the finish as much as I remember it, but that's usually just due to that first sip. When I take a second sip, it kind of just lights up all the senses in my tongue and my mouth, and it's just like freaking pop rocks going everywhere. So we're gonna take another sip. Cheers to you all for sticking with me here. I just love everything about the mouthfeel of this whiskey. As sticky as it is to the mouth, it doesn't seem like it's as viscous. Usually, like you'll see like a halo around my glass. You can kind of see it, like it does stick to the glass a bit, but it just doesn't stick as much as some other whiskeys, although it does translate on the palate, right? So it does feel pretty oily on the mouth, but typically when it feels this oily, it seems to be sticking to the glass a little bit more than it does. But I can kind of care less about that. It doesn't have to stick to the glass as long as I still get that sensation on my mouth, which I do. But I did give this 2 thumbs up on the palate, guys. Like this thing is stellar. I believe it was all pretty much 9s and 10s literally from here on in terms of rankings on this specific whiskey right here. Finish on this was absolutely stellar too. At that 127.2 proof, I want to say it's the highest NBC MGP barrel that I have had. I think everything prior to this one's been mid to low 120s or even under 120. I have a couple of those, but I believe this is the highest proof barrel that I have, and that definitely translates on the finish. Yeah, guys, Barrels of Hope, they literally, this is a gem of a whiskey. And I will say, this will likely be probably top 3 for sure. I'm not sure if anything's really going to top this right now. Well, not right now. Nothing's topping it now. But top this, before the end of the year. If it does, like this is still going to definitely be in my top 3 to top 5 whiskeys for sure. For sure. But you guys at Barrels of Hope, man, you picked a ridiculous Ridiculous barrel. Like I said earlier, I wish I had backups of this thing. This is that whiskey. When you finish it, like, you are very, very sad. It is a single barrel. It's not something that you can go search out and just get another one of, right? That's what's so special about these. You find those gems, diamonds in the rough, and you kind of just savor it, because once it's gone, it's gone. You know, your only hopes of having it again is finding a friend that may have a bottle that can, share a pour with you after the case. But these are the ones that you cherish and don't share as often as I share other whiskeys. Like, I'm more inclined to share like some BTAC stuff and all that, like crazy, crazy stuff, because I can get more of those. This bottle right here, I cannot get another one of. So that's gonna sit tight on my shelf probably for the next few years, to be honest. I know I'll put a little bit more of a dent towards the end of the year, when we're doing our Whiskey Friends bracket tournament. But outside of that, like, this is gonna get put up and just hidden. I need to like just have my wife put it somewhere and not tell me about it, so I'm not tempted to grab it, guys. Like, that's that's how good this whiskey is. But yeah, guys, 2 thumbs up on the finish as well. Like, this thing is absolutely crazy. Going over to the scores, right? Flavor score, we had a 90. The only thing that really brought that down slightly was just the upfront nose. Flavor part of it, in depth. I believe 8 and 9 for those, and pretty much everything else in terms of just palate, finish, like front, mid, palate, or front, mid, and back of the palate, I believe, are like 9s and 10s. You got a 94 in the experience score. Value at 109, if that's what the retail would have been, like some of the similar barrels and bottles that been out. It's 100. It's 100 for me. Like, can't really get better. Like, there's a few whiskeys that scored above that total of a what? I believe this was a 93, right? There's a few whiskeys that I've ranked above a 93, but they're very, very far in between. As it looks right now, and these numbers are slightly skewed. The 2024 as of today, I've only ranked 9 bottles that came out in 2024. I've reviewed a bunch and scored, I don't know, probably maybe 20 to 25 bottles at least this year, but those were some other releases that weren't, part of 2024. So it's not included in this number, but this is number 1 out of 9 for me. And if we're looking at all-time ranking, out of 82 bottles that were reviewed for me, this is tied for number 3. I believe there's three whiskeys that I scored a 93 on. The only 2 that I've scored above this whiskey was a Elijah Craig Pirate Bottle, Batch 10, and a Booker's Rye. The Elijah Craig, I believe, scored a 98, and the Booker's Rye, I think, was a 94. So literally just 1 point above that, and that's like a super unicorn bottle, right? If this thing is $100 and can score within a point, that tells you how good, this bottle of whiskey is here, guys. But literally 3 out of 82, my top 3 out of everything I've reviewed so far, or scored, should I say. Like, I got a bunch of other pirate bottles that will probably be maybe slightly above these, but like I said, you can't get those anymore. And we're talking about unicorn status bottles that are pretty much scoring above this whiskey. So definitely says a lot, and it just brings that value on this that much higher, right? $100 was readily available to an extent, right? As long as you were part of that Patreon. And you have like a bottle that, if you put this blind against some of the best things out there, this can definitely hold its weight. Yeah. I'm going to take one more sip. I got a little bit left in this, guys. I'm not going to finish it all, but take another sip. Enjoy this. We're going to end this off. I can literally sit here and just drink this all night. That's how good it is. Like, I'll probably be like hunched over because of the proof, but it doesn't really drink like it's close to 130. It has like a very good finish, but doesn't really give you the sensation that it's super, super high proof. It's just so much dark berry, just spice, and oh God, like it's, yeah, literally dark berry, spice, oak, but just a fruit bomb. It's like Gushers. Like if you had an alcoholic blackberry Gushers and you bit into it and just that explosion of like the juices hit your tongue, that's what this is. Oh, it's so good, guys. I said that I wasn't going to finish. I'm going to take this last sip over here and probably put that bottle away for, got another like maybe 5 months or so. Such a good pour. Barrels of Hope. Thank you for doing this or picking this single barrel. One of the best things that I've had ever, right? If we're looking at total rankings for stuff that I scored, but literally top whiskey in my year so far. And it's going to have to take a heck of a bottle to get this out of first place for me. Like this is stellar whiskey. Appreciate everybody that's here now. I know I'm about 16 minutes in, been rambling about this, but I can literally talk about this whiskey all day. But I'm not going to bore you. Thank you all for sitting here with me this long. Everybody of Barrels of Hope, thank you for picking that barrel. Looking forward to what you're picking next. You know, I know there's a couple things in the works, and some stuff probably heading this way pretty soon. So can't wait to try those. And if they're anything like this, you know, can't wait. Literally can't wait. But cheers to everybody. You guys have a great day. Taking off over here. Cheers.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends,